Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Dhena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. This is the specific place in which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the world. And he doesn't appear like an ordinary living entity who is forced to come into the world because of past sinful activities, because Krishna is transcendental to the material world and can come and go as he likes. Therefore he's called avatar. He appears from a higher position into a lower in order to reveal himself to the world. And very specifically, there's a starting place where he establishes himself, and this is it. The corresponding verse in the Sri Brahma Samhita, which begins with a description of the Yoga Pith, the place in which the Supreme Lord and his consort, surrounded by all of his energies, are eternally situated, and they are the object of meditation for all devotees. And this is a vitally important point, because we need somewhere to place our meditation, our attention. And that's why Krishna comes to this world, to give a very specific, not just specific, but he reveals himself directly so that we can see him and we can know him. Oftentimes when people consider God, they have many different ideas, as Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, that there are people who worship themselves as God. Some people worship various demigods as the supreme, and they think that there's any number of ways that they can approach him and it all ends up in the same place. Or some people, he says, worship the universe as the supreme. And all of these are very vague concepts. But the bhakti scriptures are not vague at all. And that's why we come here to this place, the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and hear about his transcendental position as the source of everything. Because in these vague descriptions of how to meditate on the Supreme Lord, one is left wanting. We're not satisfied. But when we have very specific understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and who he is and where he appears, then we can give our devotion and our attention to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the great acharyas like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who revealed this place, go to great lengths in order to make sure that everybody knows about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because we're from different places all around the world. Some are from China, some come from America, and from Japan, Russia, Ukraine, England, Venezuela, India, Luxembourg, Denver, Colorado. And if there was not specific information about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where he appeared, and then all the information about what he taught, then we wouldn't be here. And we'd have no place to gather, not only gather physically, but to gather our devotional energies and devote ourselves. As I mentioned last night, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami recommends that we focus our attention, our energies. Tasmad ekena manasa. Our mind should be placed in one area. And so remembering how the Lord appears in this world, Krishna says, is vitally important to doing that. In the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvata tyaktva deham punar janma naitima meti sorjuna. That if you can understand this, how my appearance in the world is transcendental, and you can know that in truth, then you don't have to stay in this world anymore. That's how valuable the information is, and how valuable it is to know exactly where the Lord appeared and the reasons that he appeared, because then we can gather our energies in that direction. Otherwise, as Prabhupada was speaking about in the class this morning, people become absorbed in activities that are less than human. They carry around big burdens in order to make a living, and they don't see that there's facility everywhere to live a simple, healthy life. And that's what the devotees do. They dedicate their energies to thinking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and remembering his activities, and then they maintain themselves in whatever simple way they have to in order to go on inquiring about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is mentioned in the Bhagavatam, Kamasya nindriya pritir labo jiveti yavata jivasya tattva jignasya narto yash cheha karmabi. That shouldn't have to, or one shouldn't waste one's energy in the world trying for sense gratification. One should live a balanced, healthy life and save one's energy in order to inquire about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught this to his followers. After he took sannyas, he went out with some of his devotees, and as they left, he asked them if they had brought anything with them. And they said, no, you didn't tell us to bring anything. And he said, very good, because I want you to observe how it is that the Supreme Lord is maintaining everyone. And he said, you can just see how the Lord has filled up the universe with food and money, but each person can only get what they deserve. No one can get more. And he said sometimes a great king who deserves every day to have a royal feast will become angry and say, well, I'm not eating today. He said, that's his karma. He can't eat because now he's angry. Or one day the royal feast is brought to him, and then he becomes sick and he can't eat that day. So it's not a product of one's own endeavor that we can enjoy in this world, but only according to how the Lord has allotted certain facilities to us, Lord Chaitanya said. So you should simply depend on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and dedicate all your mental energy and all your physical energy to serving him and thinking about him. So knowing that this place is here, the yoga pit, and coming and touching this particular place, offering obeisances here, and seeing the tree under which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made his appearance, gives us something very specific to understand that we're devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My friend Krita Karma, whom I met at the San Francisco temple, and with whom I went on Sankirtan in the very beginning days, would often answer people. People would meet us and they say, well, who are you guys? What are you? Because we obviously weren't normal. And he'd say, oh, we're devotees of Lord Krishna. And I always thought that was a very nice description. And I thought, yeah, I like that. I like to be a devotee of Lord Krishna. So just as people are devotees of all kinds of other personalities in the world, I won't mention any names. I did last night, but I won't do it here. But the fact is that it's natural to devote oneself to thinking about some great personalities. And some people show flashes of brilliance in this world. And for that, many people gather around them and they appreciate them. They even worship them. They'll wear shirts with their pictures on them. They think about them. They want to know where they grew up and where they were born. And I mean, one such place where a famous musician was born, and I'm still not mentioning any names, thousands, millions of people go every year. He's dead now, but still people go there, and they worship that place. It's in Nashville, Tennessee. You know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to mention his name. And this is the natural inclination. So the real form of that is coming here to this place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared and appreciating that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, finding out how he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then one feels extremely satisfied, because if you worship a musician, then there'll be, one will be left wanting. But when one gives one's whole heart to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and understands that he's the origin of everything and he's making everything work in this world. For instance, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matak sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. If you know that everything comes from me, he said, you'll worship me with all your heart, because it's our nature to do that. But when we find out the real source of everything and see how he's a person, because you can't meditate on something impersonal, Krishna says, that's very troublesome. But this isn't troublesome at all. It's natural to think of the lotus eyes of the Lord and how his features are formed. The very beginning of the Chaitanya Bhagavat starts off by saying, Aja lambita bujo kanakavadoto samkirtanai kapitaro kamalaya taksho vishvambaro dvijabaro yugadharmapalo vande jagat priyakaro karunavataro. It's describing the beauty of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His lotus eyes extend almost to his ears, and his arms extend down to his knees. He's a beautiful, golden complexion. He's the father of the Sankirtan movement. Ajanu lambita pujo kanakavadato samkirtane kapitaro and kamalaya taksho. So this is something that we can actually thrive with, is this description of the Lord. And so where did he appear? Right here. And he's revealed by his devotees, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur was meditating and studying. He used many techniques to find this place. He looked at old maps and studied the Shastras very carefully, and he could ascertain that the birthplace that had been delegated was not the correct place. And furthermore, from his vantage point of the balcony of his home, which we'll visit soon, he could see in the morning time there was some dust of cloud coming all the way from Nishringapali down the road and ending up in this place, which there was nothing here at the time except a Tulsi field. And then he finally had the revelation that this was Lord Nrsingadev coming from Mangalartik every day to worship Mahaprabhu in this place. This is the Lord Nrsingadev. Isn't that a beautiful meditation? Lord Nrsingadev coming and worshiping Mahaprabhu in this place. And as I mentioned last night, that everybody comes, everyone wants to worship Mahaprabhu. So we're lucky. We're lucky that we know where this is. It's the mercy of Bhaktivinoda Thakur who revealed it, that this is the place. So we can come here and dedicate ourselves to being devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's a simple thing. And if one simply says that I am a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and I surrender to him, then he'll become your protector. This this is something that Mahaprabhu himself mentions when he was teaching Sanatana Goswami. He said, Sakradeva Prapano, yes? Nagar, where are you? Huh? Tavasmiti Tadyachite. Yachite means to pray. So if you pray, he says, Sakradeva Prapano, yes. If you pray even one time to the Supreme Personality of God and say, okay, I surrender to you. I'm giving myself to you. Sakradeva Prapano, yes. Tavasmiti Tayachite. If you pray one time like that, then this is a verse from Lord Ramachandra. He goes on to say, Abhayam Sarvada Tasmai. He says that from then on, I'll take charge of your life. I'll protect you and give you courage. So this is the great benefit of knowing who Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, because there's nobody better than Lord Chaitanya. He's the best of even of all the various manifestations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabodhananda Saraswati says in his Chaitanya Chandamrita, he mentions there are various avatars of the Lord that come and do wonderful things. But he says it's nothing compared to the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These are all, everything pales in comparison to the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his special mercy. And all the great acharyas say it too, like Jiva Goswami and Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. They all talk about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the most magnificent of all incarnations. So if one wanted to, one could come here and roll in the dust of this place. You can take some of the tiny bit of the dirt from underneath the tree, and you can declare yourself an eternal servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what could stop you now that you're here? And this is the simple process of bhakti, simply to find out who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is and find out where he lives. This is where he lives. Find out where his house is, where his parents are. Have you ever done that when, if, say, you liked somebody in school or there was somebody famous? People do this all the time. It's like, find out where he lives and let's drive by the house. And people, roll down the window, they look out there, and they may take a picture of the house and so forth. So this is what devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do. They come here to this place, which is the place where he appeared. His parents are there, and they feel happy that I'm connected to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there's so much energy that comes from this place and the several places that we'll be going today that can help us in our practice of devotional service to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's a starting point to everything. And this is where the Sankirtan movement started, in this area. We're going to go to Srivasangam also. And from these places, we can feel that original energy from which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the Sankirtan movement, and remember how fortunate we are to be a part of it and to take it out and to give it to people all over the world. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Gaur Premanande Haribol. And now, Satyadev Prabhu, do you want to say a few words? Why don't you move his chair over here?
Hare Krishna. How's everyone feeling? Yeah. So I was reading this morning, and I guess this is especially relevant since tomorrow is Nityananda Trayodasi. And it's said that Lord Nityananda, he's like the broker. He's in the marketplace of the holy name, and he's specifically the broker between us and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Lord Nityananda is Balaram and Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. And we can only actually get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So I was remembering that today when we arrived here and when we went up to the yoga pit, unto the neem tree under which Lord Chaitanya was born, therefore he's called Nimai. And as I was touching the dust, I was praying to Lord Nityananda that somehow or other I could enter into this spiritual vibration is here and just absorb just even a little atom, if it was possible. And then I was also remembering that Lord Nityananda is a dosha darshi, which he doesn't see any faults in anyone. Therefore, it's so easy to get his mercy. But if we can become, as Madhavananda Prabhu was teaching us, the way we can really get his mercy is to resonate with him. You know? Like, you know the word resonate. I think it is if you play the note of C on a piano, and if you have a guitar in the background, yes, okay, because it's at the same vibration, it will resonate. It will pick up that vibration. So if we want to resonate with Lord Nityananda, we have to become a dosha darshi ourselves, give up fault finding, and be absolutely humble. At least, as I was saying last night, we come to the Dham for a short period of time. It may be a good thing, at least in my case. Because at least for a few days we can cultivate and maintain a certain level of humility and tolerance and prayerful mood, and then be able to absorb, open ourselves. The mercy is always there. Can we receive it? Can we open ourselves to it? And that's a choice as jiva souls that we have, that Krishna gives us. This free will we have to open ourselves to his light, to his mercy, or to live in the darkness of Maya and mope around in our sad little story. So I just like to encourage all the devotees today to, as we're here in this holy place, to try and understand the history and the mood and the vibration of this place, and of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and the Acharyas, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, and just humbly pray for their mercy. One beat. Ijo desu. Thank you very much.
We have a few minutes here, right? We're in tight schedule. What is our schedule? Do we have to be anywhere soon? Okay. Madhavananda Prabhu, would you like to say a few words about this place? Yes? Put this back. Or you can leave that and sit there. You have a pocket?
Yeah. Gurave Guru Chandraya Radhikaya Sadalaye
Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tud Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. So we're coming from Jagannath Puri, so I'd like to make a little connection with that. In the deity of Tota Gopinath, Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsi Vata Tatastita Karshan Venuswanar Gopir Gopinatha Shriyeshtanaha. That Krishna in Vrindavan at Vamsivat, he played on his flute, and the gopis went running there, and they gave up everything for Krishna, and they danced in the Ras Leela with Krishna. And then Krishna told the gopis, Na parayeham niravadya samyujam swasadu krityam vibudaya sapiva yamabhajam durjaya geha shrinkalai samvitshayatadva pratiyatu sadhuna. That I don't know how to repay my debt to you. I'm able to repay my debt with everybody. I promise, yeyatam mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham. That's my nature. However someone approaches me, I always reciprocate. This person's chanting Hare Krishna, but I know on the inside what he really wants is a shiny red bicycle, right? Krishna knows that, so he says, let me give him a really nice shiny red bicycle, but in a way, he'll never ask for it again. So Krishna had that greed, but it was an inconceivable thing because Krishna can't understand the mood of Radharani. As we were speaking a little in Puri, just as the night can't understand the nature of sunshine. It's opposites. Krishna's Priti Vishroy, the object of love. He can't understand Priti Ashroy, the abode of love. So he had this dilemma. And there are many different discussions about this. Narahari Chakravarti Thakur once had a vision in Vrindavan, a long vision, but a part of that vision, he saw Sri Krishna coming before Srimati Radharani, and Krishna was on his hands and knees, and he was begging Radharani, please, please, give me your love, give me your bhav, because he was so disturbed by this. She loved me in a way that I can't reciprocate. I have to reciprocate. How can I reciprocate? So he didn't have that wealth. So he went to her, please, please, please give me your bhav. And Radharani at that time, she said, what do you want with my bhav? People call me Pagalini Radha, Mad Radha. I roll on the ground. I forget about everything. And when you're not present there, only Lalita knows what it's like for me. So she wouldn't give that to him. And then if you have a big debt, you try to borrow money to repay it. That doesn't work. So then you try to get a job. And that's another long story. Krishna once went to Subal, his very intimate friend, and said, it's very bad. Radharani's always worshiping me in such a nice way, but I can't reciprocate. And he said, the problem is I have this male form. If I could just become a maidservant of Radharani, if I could be a girl, then I could repay. And Subal said, I'll take care of things. And so he took Krishna to a private place, and they put a couple of well-placed mangoes and tied his hair up in a certain way and put a sari on him and things. But they dressed Krishna up like a very poor lady. And then Krishna went to Barsana, and the gopis there, they said, who are you? And he said, my name is Ramika. And I heard about Radharani. I came here to serve her. And so they brought this beautiful gopi before Radharani. This is Ramika. And Radharani said, oh, just by seeing this gopi, I feel very happy. She said, what kind of services can you do? And Ramika said, any services? And Radharani, she said, where did you learn to do all the services? It's not a small thing to tell Radharani I can do all the services. And then Ramika said, well, I was serving some of Kamsa's wives in Mathura, where I'm from. And I learned a few things there. Okay. And so they put Ramika to work. And Ramika Krishna was very happy. And Ramika was making Radharani's bed. Ramika would make a fruit platter for Radharani. And he would take all these different fruits and cut them in ways so they look like a swan. They look like different fish and different animals and things and flowers. and different sweets and things, and he would put perfume on her bed and a wonderful sheet and serve Radharani in such a wonderful way. And this went on for some days. And then one day Radharani told her Sakhi, she said, it used to be that I could only think of Shyam Sundar. But now I can't stop thinking about Ramika. She's just so wonderful. But one thing really bothers me about her. She's so poor. She doesn't have a decent sari or anything. So Radharani, she called for Ramika. Ramika, come here. It's not right. You're doing such nice service. I'd like to give you something. And Ramika said, I don't want anything. I just want to please you. And Radharani said, no, you shouldn't be dressed like this. And she said, Lalita, you go get my box of saris. Vishaka, you bring some other clothes and things. We're going to give you some nice new clothes. And Ramika said, that's not necessary. I don't need that. No, you must accept. And Ramika didn't know what to do, Krishna. So then the gopis, they came, and Krishna said, thank you very much. I'll try them on later on. And they said, no, you should put them on now. I'm a little shy. I don't want to undress in front of a... No, we're all ladies here. And Ramika just became very shy like this. So then Radharani, she told a few of the gopis, you forcibly change your clothes. So they went and they started pulling on Ramika's choli and her sari. And they were very surprised to find that Ramika was very strong. She was holding on very tight. And Radharani said, you don't even know how to undress. Get out of the way. Here. And she grabbed a hold of Ramika's choli and ripped it off. And then suddenly 2 mangoes fell down on the ground. And for about 1 full minute, everyone was just stunned. And Krishna very shyly picked up the mangoes and put them back. And then all the gopis began to laugh like anything. And then Srimati Radharani, she told Krishna, what are you doing? I'm your maidservant. And now you're coming and serving me. This is not good. And so she forcefully put Krishna down in a chair and she began to dress him and decorate him in such a nice way. So Krishna had a problem. He had a big debt. If you have a big debt, if I borrow $10,000 from Ananda Murari Prabhu and I tell him, anyway, Prabhuji, here's 10,000 rupees. He may not be happy, and he's a very angry, dangerous person who knows what he's going to do. So I try to get a job. That doesn't work. I try to borrow money. It doesn't work. But I really have to repay him. He's going to come with a lead bar or something, lead pipe. So then what do? You only have one choice, and that is you have to steal to repay that. So Krishna is known as Choragraganya. Of all the choras, he's Agraganya. He's the best of all the different thieves. And Rupa Goswami says in his Dvitiya Chaitanyashtakam that Rasa Stomam Ritva, that Krishna entered into the heart of Radharani. My Guru Maharaj speaks about that, to be a little short about it. He said that where did Krishna go when he left Vrindavan? Because we know it said that Vrindavana parityagya parikam nagachati. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Is it true? Have you read about someone named Akrura? It seems that Krishna left Vrindavan. But we say he didn't leave. But if he didn't leave, then where was he? So our Guru Maharaj gave one explanation for this. That he entered into the heart of Radha. In the same way that the moonbeams enter into the champak flower. We say that champak varni Radharani is the color of a champak flower. The champak flower is a very interesting flower. It blossoms at night under the rays of the moon. And you can't see how the rays of that moon enter into that flower. We can't see how Shama Sasadara, Krishna, who's like the moon, how he entered into the heart of Radharani. But he did that by opening that heart one petal at a time, her lotus heart. And how did he do that? By applying some heat. That heat is called Vipralamba Agni, or the fire of separation. And Radharani's heart became soft, and then Krishna began to peel the lotus of her heart little by little, and then he entered into her heart so that he could grab that Madanakya Mahabhava Dana, that great wealth of the topmost ecstasy of love of God that Srimati Radharani has. So he got that. Now finally he's successful. But when he came out of her heart, he found that everything was different. Suddenly Vrindavan was gone. And when he looked down on his skin, Shama Sundar had become Gora Sundar. Now he was golden. That Radha Bhava Duti Sivalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. Now Radharani's mood and complexion were covering him. And Vrindavan was gone. The Jamuna was gone. And he was on the bank of another river. And the gopis were gone, but there were other people who were dancing and singing there. And Krishna Leela had become Gora Leela. And he left Vrindavan and he came here to Mayapur. And those gopi associates of Braj, they became his associates here in Mayapur. So this is such a wonderful thing here at this place. In Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's written in Sajjana Toshini magazine that once he was at his home, we're going to go to in a few days, and he saw a wonderful vision. He saw the Adbhuta Mandir, and Lord Nityananda Prabhu revealed that this place, this Janmasthana of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is that amazing temple. And now we have a second Adbhuta Mandir also coming up. But this is such a very, very wonderful place. Bhaktivinoda Thakur went door to door begging money to build this temple. And it said that later there was some dacoits, some gundas who came here and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati established these deities of Nrsingadev. I have a little attachment for these deities. I remember once we were distributing books at a rock concert, and I had a picture of these deities of Lakshmi Nrsingadev. And I was a little attached. I was praying to him. And I got some strange inspiration, and I started showing everybody that picture. And I said, yeah, this is the boss, and we're doing this benefit today and giving everybody this book and give something. And I would show everybody that picture of Lakshmi Nrsinga. And I thought at first this is going to be really strange. People are going to say, what is this? And go away. But I found, much to my surprise, oh, that's cool. Yeah, sure. I understand. And people they started giving me things. And I was just going and showing everybody these wonderful deities of Lakshmi Nrsinga Bhagavan. So we're very happy to be here with everybody today. Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari ke, Go Premanandi.
So we're going from here to the Chaitanya Mat, founded by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And we're going to spend a little bit of time there talking about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Krishna willing and the environment willing, because you never know on Parikrama who's going to be there first and what the sound level will be and so forth. But we're getting back on the bus now, and then we're going to go down to that place, and then we'll finish at Srivasangam today. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Go Premanande.
Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, hey, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman, Nachari Armarman.